This is the Dick B channel on YouTube, covering the history of Alcoholics Anonymous and the Christian recovery movement. My name is Dick B, and I'm an active recovered member of the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. This is the 14th video on the Dick B channel on YouTube. This is video 14, showing where and how the Christian roots of AA impacted on the Christian upbringings of AA co-founders Bill W. and Dr. Bob, and how these roots ultimately wound up directly influencing the old school original AA Christian fellowship program, of which Bill W. and Dr. Bob began the development over the summer of 1935 in Akron, Ohio. Before we move into the next video, in which we will deal with the impact of two great evangelists, F.B. Meyer and Billy Sunday, on Bill W.'s Christian upbringing, we pause at this point to show you part of the picture as to where and how the organizations and people in New England who were involved in the Christian recovery movement impacted on the Christian upbringing of Dr. Bob and Bill W. as youngsters in the Green Mountain State, Vermont. Telling remarks on the Christian roots of AA by Dr. Bob and his son. Because of their significant importance in demonstrating the Christian roots of AA, we repeat here several quotes from AA General Service Conference-approved literature that we shared in video 13. Dr. Bob said, "From childhood through high school, I was more or less forced to go to church, Sunday school, and evening service, Monday night Christian Endeavor, and sometimes on Wednesday evening prayer meeting. I had refreshed my memory of the good book, and I had had excellent training in that as a youngster." Dr. Bob's son Smitty said about Dr. Bob, "He read the Bible from cover to cover 3 times and could quote favorite passages verbatim." Dr. Bob also said, "But we were convinced that the answer to our problems was in the good book. To some of us older ones, the parts that we found absolutely essential were the Sermon on the Mount, the 13th chapter of 1 Corinthians, and the book of James. It wasn't until 1938 that the teachings and efforts and studies that had been going on were crystallized in the form of the 12 steps. We already had the basic ideas, though not in terse and tangible form. We got them, as I said, as a result of our study of the good book." The following are some of the Christian roots of AA relating to Dr. Bob's upbringing. I thoroughly document these roots in my title, Dr. Bob of Alcoholics Anonymous, His Excellent Training in the Good Book as a Youngster in Vermont. Number 1, the Great Awakening of 1875 in St. Johnsbury and its aftermath. Dr. Bob's parents lived and worked in St. Johnsbury in 1875 and were married on August 15, 1876, and Dr. Bob was born in St. Johnsbury on August 8, 1879. 2. Dr. Bob's devoted Congregationalist parents, Judge Walter P. Smith and Susan H. Smith, were Sunday school superintendents and teachers in North Congregational Church, St. Johnsbury, and were active in the church's Sunday school, sermons, prayer services, Bible studies, and Christian Endeavor program. 3. Great evangelists like Dwight L. Moody, Ira D. Sankey, Henry Morehouse, Henry Martin Moore, and Alan Folger of New Hampshire. The Society of Christian Endeavor, which started in North Congregational Church, St. Johnsbury in 1887. The Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA laymen were key players in the Great Awakening of 1875 in St. Johnsbury. The YMCA was active in North Congregational Church, St. Johnsbury, and at the St. Johnsbury Academy while Dr. Bob was a student there. 6. St. Johnsbury Academy. Dr. Bob's parents were active there, and Dr. Bob took Christian studies, attended required daily chapel, weekly church services, and Bible study there. The following are some of the Christian roots of AA relating to Bill W.'s upbringing. I thoroughly document these roots in my title, The Conversion of Bill W., More on the Creator's Role in Early AA. Number 1, East Dorset Congregational Church in East Dorset, Vermont. Bill was active in this church as a youth, attending Sunday school and revival meetings there. 2, Bill's Bible studies with his grandfather, Fayette Griffith, and Bill's friend, Mark Whalen. 3, Burr and Burton Academy in Manchester, Vermont. Bill participated in required daily chapel, weekly Bible study, and weekly attendance at Manchester Congregational Church. He also took a 4-year Bible study course. Bill was president of the school YMCA, and his girlfriend Bertha Bamford was president of the school YWCA. 4, the Calvary Mission, run by Reverend Sam Shoemaker's Calvary Episcopal Church in New York, at which both Bill W. and his friend Debbie Thatcher made decisions for Christ. 5, Christian evangelists such as Billy Sunday and F.B. Meyer through Frank Buchman. This presentation has covered the route by which the Christian roots of AA moved into the lives, activities, and Christian upbringings of AA's co-founders, Dr. Bob and Bill W. as youngsters in Vermont. The next program will cover 2 evangelists of importance who impacted Bill W.'s upbringing, F.B. Meyer and Billy Sunday, and it will provide you with further information as to how the deeds of the evangelists, with their Bibles, prayer meetings, revival, and gospel meetings, impacted the ideas, principles, and practices of the old school Akron AA Christian Fellowship. I close by giving you a picture of 2 of my books, which more fully detail the facts about the progression of the Christian roots of AA into the actual program of the old school Akron AA Christian Fellowship. The first is Dr. Bob of Alcoholics Anonymous, his excellent training in the good book as a youngster in Vermont. The second is the Oxford Group in Alcoholics Anonymous, a design for living that works, 2nd edition.